The 1969 Daytona 500 marked the first time that estimates topped 100,000 in attendance. But noticeably absent during pole qualification were Ford's top drivers, as they awaited a ruling on Ford's new 429 cubic inch semi-Hemi engine. That left the pole position open for Dodge driver Buddy Baker. Ford's new engine was rejected, and they decided to run with the engines they had used in 1968. Veteran racing analyst Chris Economaki set the stage for the Dodge versus Ford battle.
Never before in the history of this race have the two companies been so close. It's an even-Steven 500, the experts say. But Ford has got a bit of a problem. They were forced to use last year's engine at the last minute. They've gotten a lot of power and a lot of speed out of it, but they're not sure about the economy, and they don't know how far one of their cars will go on a tank full of gas until that first pit stop rolls around. And that really upsets their strategy.
By race time, the strategy seemed clear. Teamwork would be the key.
They're underway, and immediately Buddy Baker gets a good jump on Bobby Isaac. Buddy Baker in car number 3 shoots into the lead by about a car length as they go into that first turn. Right, and there goes Buddy Baker in that 69 Charger, followed by Bobby Isaac, also in a 69 Charger. And Charlie Glotzbach in a 69 Charger is running third, so the Dodgers are 1, 2, and 3 right now. David Pearson is 4th. Cale Yarbrough is in 5th place.
The Ford drivers were struggling, even with new convert Richard Petty on board.
Petty is making his first Speedway start for Ford. The color and the number are the same, the blue number 43, and after more than a dozen years for Plymouth, Petty has moved over this year to Ford.
LeeRoy Yarbrough had finished second in 1968 after making an unnecessary pit stop while leading late in the race. This time, he was driving like a man on a mission.
Incidentally, keep your eye on LeeRoy Yarbrough, who started back in the 10th row, and right now we've got him back up there in 6th place, so he's been doing some real charging.
Familiar drivers dominated the first half of the race as Buddy Baker and Donnie Allison traded the lead. But there was also exciting action with new faces back in the pack.
This is this battle for third, LeeRoy Yarbrough, Richard Petty, and Bobby Unser.
This is the first stock car race for Bobby Unser in over 11 years, he told me before the race, and he's adapted beautifully.
He, of course, the defending Indianapolis champion, and here he moves up on Richard Petty. So Bobby Unser has moved now into 4th place and is right behind LeeRoy Yarbrough, challenging for third. So there have been good battles, not only for first and second, but also to get position back in the pack.
But today was not the day for Bobby Unser.
This is Bobby Unser. Car number 13 has hit the wall. The caution flag is out again, and Bobby's okay getting out of the car and trotting to the infield, but his car is out of the race.
Defending champion Cale Yarbrough also hit the wall after blowing a tire on turn 4.
The yellow flag is out, and Cale Yarborough's up against the wall.
And that ends his chances for 4 straight. We hope he's okay.
Even though he was carried from his car, he suffered only cuts and bruises. On lap 119, Charlie Glotzbach took the lead driving a Cotton Owens Dodge. He held that position for the next 20 laps until Allison regained the lead. Then on lap 161, Yarbrough made his move.
Johnny Allison still charging in car number 27. But right behind him is LeeRoy Yarbrough in car number 98, and here comes LeeRoy, coming up very fast behind Donnie Allison.
As I said earlier, Bill, the fellows that are doing well today are driving cars that's set up by former drivers that are now retired. Donnie Allison is driving for Banjo Matthews, and LeeRoy Yarbrough is driving for Junior Johnson, who won here in 1960.
And look at LeeRoy go by Donnie Allison. LeeRoy takes the lead from Donnie Allison on a nifty bit of driving, and look at number 6, Charlie Glotzbach is right behind, waiting to bounce in too. Looks like he may take aim on Donnie. So those 3 cars running 1, 2, and 3, 2 Fords and a Dodge, and here comes Charlie Glotzbach into 2nd place, taking Donnie Allison.
He lived up to his name there, Charging Charlie. He's driving a car set up by a former driver, Cotton Owens.
And Cotton Owens was the fastest qualifier here at the first Daytona 500 11 years ago, or 10 years ago, 11 races ago. You must be amazed at the speeds that we have right now.
The race was coming down to a battle between LeeRoy Yarbrough and Charlie Glotzbach.
2 of the most talented drivers in all of auto racing. LeeRoy Yarbrough and Charlie Glotzbach practically bumper to bumper, and Charlie almost gets by on the inside. Never in the history of this illustrious race has there been quite a duel like we've had here at these speeds. Now, it's true that a year ago, Cale and LeeRoy battled it out, almost wheel to wheel. Looks like Charlie was going to get by, and then, again, LeeRoy won't let him by. Chris, have you ever seen anything like it?
No, it's tremendous, but the people who are car fans are enjoying it, too. It's a Ford versus Chrysler proposition here. And at one moment, one group's on their feet. The next moment, the other group's on their feet.
And there goes Charlie Glotzbach. And this time he gets LeeRoy. Now can he hold it? They're almost dead even as they go into the number 3 turn. And now Glotzbach does get just a little bit of an advantage. And watch it, LeeRoy up high, almost lost control.
Boy, you know, tires, Bill, are a critical point here. LeeRoy had a little problem there. We understand from the Junior Johnson pit that they're considering putting on a different compound when he does come in for his last pit stop.
Then on lap 181, LeeRoy made his crucial final pit stop.
So it is. The remarkable thing here is they're changing the inside rear wheel, not the outside where wear is most usually found. That spoiler angulation we talked about earlier has pressed the rear of the car down, spread the wear, and they're putting a soft rubber tire, a soft compound tire, on the left rear. Let's see what happens now.
Exactly 7.5 laps to go, and Charlie Glotzbach has the lead on LeeRoy Yarbrough, and we're keeping a timing between the two. But LeeRoy has consistently been cutting that margin down by about 0.5 of a second per lap. The question will be, will he have enough time to do it?
With 4 laps to go, Glotzbach still had a 2-second lead. LeeRoy was gaining on him, but there was still lapped traffic to negotiate.
Buddy Baker is right behind Glotzbach, and that's the spot that he's positioned himself in. He's kind of running interference in reverse, so to speak.
Baker moves down now. How about that? And he sort of gives LeeRoy Yarbrough some room, which is a strange occurrence.
LeeRoy right behind Baker. He has to get by Baker to get to Glotzbach, and it's down to 1.2. Now, that's with 3 laps to go. He picked up 0.8 of a second.
And actually, LeeRoy was helped by Baker. He picked up a little bit of his draft in there.
All right, here's a critical point. LeeRoy even with Baker, and he takes Baker on the backstretch. Yarbrough takes Buddy Baker, and so now he is only about a second behind Charlie Glotzbach. And when they come by, they'll have 2 laps to go. Everybody, more than 100,000 people here jammed right up against the fence, standing on top of their cars, on top of their makeshift rigs, on the infield to try to get a glimpse of what has to be one of the most spectacular races in the history of motorsport.
Not a person is sitting down, Bill. What a dramatic wind-up to this 11th annual Daytona 500.
0.8 of a second, that's all that separates LeeRoy Yarbrough with 2 laps to go from Charlie Glotzbach, and he's closing in on him.
The question is, will he be able to get by if he catches him?
And there they are for the first time, both cars right in our picture, and a slower car moves to give way. Right down in front of the grandstand. This is 1 lap to go. The white flag is out.
And LeeRoy's got a clear shot at Glotzbach.
And there they go, into the upper turn.
They're on the final lap, about 6 car lengths separate them.
And here's where it's going to have to happen. Down the backstretch, and LeeRoy picks up a little ground on Charlie Glotzbach. LeeRoy getting closer.
They're going close to 200 miles an hour here.
And LeeRoy takes him. Yarbrough has taken the lead as they go side by side, splitting another car as they go by. At breakneck speed, LeeRoy Yarbrough has the lead on Glotzbach, and Charlie now will have to come down fast to the inside out of the number 4 turn.
He'll try and slingshot him if he has room.
And there's no room there. They come by, everybody standing and cheering. The checkered flag is out for LeeRoy Yarbrough, who takes the lead on the last lap.
What a finish.
After the race, LeeRoy Yarbrough summed up their winning strategy.
We was really just hunting for a tire compound, and thank God to Goodyear that we found one that we could really go quick when we needed to.
Overcome by emotion, Yarbrough choked back tears.
It's the biggest day in my life.